welcome back to another Writer Wednesday. And really an impromptu Writer Wednesday because I wasn't going to do anything tonight, but then I changed my mind. Oh, oh, jump! No, I hit it with potato. Anyway, I wasn't going to do anything tonight. I haven't done any recording in a while. I was gonna do this YouTube thing on like a side thing for funsies. I've seen several posts kind of in relation to the topic that I wanted to talk about, which really started with book covers and kind of spirals into how you could technically publish without spending anything, and how some authors get really, really upset when you talk about it like that. Really, what started all of this. Can you notice that I've done a lot of work on this nonsense castle that has no purpose? This is what I do. I've started listening to audiobooks and just playing Minecraft with no purpose, and it is by far one of the most relaxing things I have decided to do. But anyway, so book covers. This really started when I noticed a trend on the newsletters that I get. I've signed up to a lot of like ebook discount newsletters. So not only do I like put my books into them, but I get the email just in case there's a book I want to read. And I've noticed a trend because I went through. No, it's not where I wanted to go. Hold on. I went through my email one day this past week. I don't remember what day it was. And I deleted a whole bunch of emails because I just needed to clean out my emails. And I looked at all of these book email lists and I noticed a trend among them. But the trend I noticed while going through all of these emails was that there were so many covers where it was unclear what genre it was. And now for most of these subscriber lists, you pick the genre that you want to receive discounts in, and I subscribe to mostly fantasy. I think there was one that I also did romance, and then there's one I think I also do horror. So basically, like those three genres are the only ones that I get. And going through all of these emails, there were so many where the cover was so unappealing that I didn't even go in and like read more about it because the cover did not invite me to read more about that book. It was just like, no, that one, I'm going to use the words, looks self-published. Yes, I said it. Because I think it just comes back to that. I don't know how to say it without being just a butthole about it. Because when I say looks self-published, I mean it looks unpolished, it looks a little unprofessional. To me, there were so many, so many book covers that looked like somebody had taken a stock image, put simple text over it, and called it a book cover. That to me says I did this cover myself in the free Canva version. And while you can definitely do that, you can make your own cover in 5 minutes on Canva if you want to. But I think the majority of authors would greatly advise you not to do that for several reasons. Mostly for the reason that I just explained, which is readers are going to look right past it. Because it's that old, don't judge a book by its cover. We judge book by covers. That is what we do. It is. Our brain chemistry. It's how we see things, okay? And if your book looks like the cover was made in Canva in 5 minutes, what am I doing? I had a plan for this adventure, and I didn't bring any wood. Okay, well, let me go grab some wood. I'm grabbing wood for torches. But readers, and I'm including myself in this reader lump, when I see a book cover that looks super cheap and flat and like not done professionally, I assume that the inside of that book has the same quality. And it might not, but that is what my brain says. And in my experience as a reader, that is oftentimes true. What am I doing? Why did I walk into this room? Wood. I'm getting wood. See, now my thought process is just bleh. Here we go. Dude, bundles, best thing in Minecraft. We judge books on their cover, which is what we do. So when you're outside, looks cheap, we're going to assume the inside is also cheap. And on these books that I've taken a chance on, these indie books, I'm assuming they're indie books that I've taken a chance on, none of them have been very good. I know it hurts me to say that as a fellow author, but it's the truth. And I know it hurts authors to hear this, but I've gotten to the point where I more so believe in giving a truthful like review of a book rather than giving you false positivity. Because I was lied to about my first book, and it shows. Because I published a book that was not ready to be published. It was not very good. It was not well written. But everyone told me it was because nobody wanted to tell me the truth. So I think it is better to tell authors that their book needs work than tell them, oh yeah, it's great, when it's not. What am I doing? I had a purpose. I feel like I do this every single time. Like I get in here, get in here with a purpose, and I forget what it is. I think I was gonna make a rail car to my whatchamacallit stronghold. It's over here somewhere, but it's up higher, so I should go up higher. It's been a long day. It's been a long week. But anyway, coming back to the book cover debacle. Your book cover needs to look professional. Because if it doesn't, it reflects on the inside. Like I went through all these emails, right? And I looked at all of these books, and they all kind of shared the same sense of I did this myself, or I paid my friend who wants to be a graphic designer who's not actually a graphic designer to do it for me. And I scroll right past those books. Life is too short, and I don't have enough free time to continuously take chances on books that don't look like they've been. See, I'm trying to bite my words here as I say all this. Because I know the authors out there that don't want to hear it. But when you see a book cover that looks cheap, or let's just say it doesn't look professional, it does not entice you to read it. It does not stand out in the ocean of other books that also don't look professional. No, it's like the covers that are just like make you look twice. Like, wow, that's a beautiful cover. It's like that book now has your attention twice. That's what you want. And those covers can be pricey. Because unless you are a graphic designer who understands book trends, that's what you need. Because book covers, they come with reader expectations for the genre, which is a whole nother thing. I think I've talked about it before, but I don't remember. But basically, you have to kind of fit the conventions of your genre to appeal to the readers of that genre. And I've heard authors before say things like, well, I want my book to stand out. Yeah, you want your book to stand out, but not in a bad way. You don't want your book to look like it's in the wrong section of the bookstore. You want it to blend in with the other books of your genre so that when readers look at your book, they can tell exactly what genre it is. Which kind of brings me back to one of my first statements. I think I said it, I don't know, I might not have, about how going through all these emails, and of the mostly fantasy books, that's the primary one that I subscribe to, there were so many fantasy books that unless I was told that they were in the fantasy section, I would not have known just how the covers look. Because fantasy, it's because it's the one I am most familiar with, has certain tropes and conventions that I expect, that other readers expect in the covers. And your different subgenres of fantasy have their own have their own expectations. Like, for example, urban fantasy usually has some sexy looking girl in like a black jeans on the cover holding a gun or something. And high fantasy has its own expectations, as does like gaslight fantasy, as does contemporary fantasy. So you don't want your contemporary fantasy to look like it's a nonfiction book, basically. And how do you know that your book cover fits all the genre expectations? You read in that genre. You read widely in your genre. You know what the book covers look like. You know what the book covers looked like 10 years ago. You know, like, certain trends. Gravel. And that goes back to the read. You need to be reading. And it also surprises me how many authors say they don't, like, this don't read. Like, reading in your genre is how you know these things. Know all of the tropes and conventions and expectations for your genre, for the book covers that go on your genre, for marketing that you do, because certain books are marketed a certain way. My thought train just went, boom. And reading in your genre is also how you find your comp titles. If you, or like if any author tells me that, well, they don't have any comp titles because there is no book like their book, you are lying. You are not reading in your genre, is what that means. Because I can guarantee you, you have not written an original book. There is going to be a book that is similar to yours in tone, audience, themes, something. It's going to be a short author Wednesday, because that's all I have to talk about is reading in your genre to understand your conventions and expectations for your cover. Because, there were so many. I'm just going to say it. There were so many just bad covers. They just looked bad. And just like some stock image with just flat text over it. There were so many that like you couldn't hardly even read the title of the book because it was so like it wasn't arranged properly on like the front, and like you couldn't even read it. In our digital age, you need to be able to read your title when it's a thumbnail. When your book cover is the size of a thumbnail, you need to be able to clearly read the title and see the cover. Speaking like fonts, for my font nerds out there, you need a clear font for your cover. Pretty font, yes, but you need something that is easy to read, especially as a thumbnail. Oh, I forgot. I just thought of this. I saw the same like silhouette of a woman 3 times going through these emails. 3 different times. So it's just some stock image that has been used that many times. And that is another reason to be reading widely in your genre, so you can see the trends that have happened. So when you're talking about your book cover, or like you're going over images, if like you're using a design or something and they use that exact same stock image that you've seen like 15 times, you can be like, no, I don't want that one. And I am aware that getting a professional cover designer is expensive. And I'm also aware that not every author has that kind of budget. Which is why when I published my first book, non-deep flake diamonds. You don't see those very often anymore. Oh, there's so many! 22 diamonds. It's fortune, whatever I have on this. Fortune 3? Yeah. What was I talking about? Oh my god, I'm distracted by shiny things. Oh, when I published my first book, I did so by designing the cover myself through, at the time it was CreateSpace, but it is now KDP, through their free cover maker. Yes, yes, I did. And I published it. I put it up for sale. I thought it was good enough, and at the time it was for me. And it quickly became apparent that it wasn't, and I did get in touch with like a designer who made me another one, and it looks much better. But that is kind of a why I say yes, it is possible to publish a book without putting a dime into it. It is not recommended, but you can do it. Like, for example, in my case, and I know in a lot of authors' cases, I had no idea what I was doing when I published that first book. It was more experimental. Like, I was just, put my toes in the water, seeing what the publishing was about, trying to do it myself, trying to figure it out. And that's okay. And I know everyone says don't, publish through Amazon, don't take their free USB. ISBN. Well, I did. And I'm being completely honest, don't regret it, because my first book wasn't that good. My first 3 books that I did were not that good. They have not sold well enough for me to regret that decision. They have not made back the money that I put into them just to buy the covers. And I got the latter 3 edited. So no, they did not make that back. I can talk, I swear. They did not make that money back because they didn't sell very well, because they weren't, I don't want to say they weren't edited well, they just weren't written very well. Okay, that's on me, because my skill as a writer just wasn't quite there. So I spent the bare minimum on them, and I learned a whole lot. And I don't regret publishing the way that I did, because it was a learning experience and I learned. And I am not out. Excuse me, and I'm not out like a tremendous amount of money, which is why I recommend that for your very first book, you're just dipping your toes in the water, you just want to experiment a little bit, do that. Don't get a tremendously fancy cover. Get Amazon's free ISBN. That way, if it doesn't do very well, you're not out thousands of dollars. Ooh. A stronghold is this way, I swear. I found it yesterday. The day before. One of those days. Let me wrap this up. My train of thought just went around the other canyon. So, to wrap up this train crash of a Writer Wednesday, you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to publish your book. You can if you want to. If it's your first book, maybe not so much. Don't go into debt trying to get famous. Don't do that. I would feel more comfortable now, 10 books later, 10 published books later, putting $3,000-$4,000 down on a book, knowing what I know now, in order to make that money back. Because I am more knowledgeable now than I was back in 2016 about marketing and like book placement, like your positioning in the market, where to market, how to market, who to market to, like how to budget that $3,000 between like your cover and your editing and like your marketing campaigns. I know more about all of that now than I did, both through advice from other people and also experience. I have done them. I have done the whole campaign thing. I've played with Facebook ads, Amazon ads, covers compared to other covers. I feel more experienced. I feel more prepared to put that money down in order to attempt to make it back. I say attempt because like some of it is like positioning, but also some of it is just dumb luck. I'm convinced it is. No one can tell me otherwise. So I wish you a happy Writer Wednesday. Also a Merry Christmas if I don't make another one of these before Christmas, who knows? Or if you don't celebrate Christmas, happy whatever you celebrate, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, or just just happy end of the year. Woo! Thanks for tuning in and listening to my train crash of a ramble. I wish all of your books for the next 25 days are 5-star reads. I'll think of an outro eventually. Not today.